So next up today, I'm delighted to be joined by Mark Ferguson from Morefire PR. Mark, how are you today?
I'm really good, thanks. All the better for talking with you, Simon.
Okay, that's the first I've heard that for a long time, but no, listen, it's great to get together and especially as we're talking about starting a business and startup businesses, and of course your journey as well, because you've been going for a good few years. But do you want to give us a bit of an introduction to yourself and what you do, and how you found business to where you are today?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Mark Ferguson, as you say, from Morefire Public Relations. We're based over in Pytchley in Northamptonshire. My history, I guess, goes back to the days when I was originally a journalist and an editor, mainly on business publications, covering a whole variety of different subjects. I then worked for several quite big organizations where I was doing stuff like, scientific research and communicating around universities and all those different types of areas. So I had a really big introduction into the world of PR, worked quite extensively on that, did a lot of interaction with media over the years. And then I kind of got to a stage where I thought, I really feel like I want to just go out on my own and start doing my own business. I was fed up of blaming the bosses for all their stupid mistakes. I thought it was time to make my own stupid mistakes. And so started up Morefire PR. And essentially, what we do is we work with our clients to communicate effectively, to talk to their audiences, the people who matter to them. Every organization, company, business has a narrative. They've got a story to tell, and it's our job really to help them do that. And sometimes we do it through their websites, working with external media. We do video production, copywriting, crisis communications, which is the stuff I can't talk very much about publicly. And it's been a real ride and a journey up and down. And this month I've been celebrating my 11-year anniversary doing all this crazy work that I do. And the latest, just to give you one example, the latest thing I've been working on, I've just come back from spending a week in Morocco, working with academics at a university, Al Aqawan, near Ifrain, which is a really interesting place. And I've been helping teach their staff about how to better communicate with and engage with industry, because it's something they needed support with. So there's never a dull moment. There's always stuff going on. And as I say, it's been a really interesting journey. And I can't believe that 11 years have suddenly flown by.
Yeah, well, fantastic, and congratulations on 11 years, because
Thank
some
you.
people don't make it past sort of year one or year two, do they? But 11 years, fantastic achievement, so well done on that. And
Thank you.
I think with PR, I mean, obviously people don't often understand the need or the benefits to it. What would you say is the main sort of benefits to PR within what you've seen over the years, but for those that really don't understand the benefit to it?
Well, I suppose the ironic thing is often you'll hear people using PR in negative terms. They'll say, "Oh, it's not PR." We want something of substance, not just something that's PR and spin. But I guess there's a couple of points to begin with there. What we do, public relations, two-way engagement. Think of the editorial section of the media. So if you're reading a newspaper or a magazine or watching a TV program or whatever, it's the content, it's the narrative. It's not so much the paid for advertising that everyone wants to kind of click on and skip through or gets bored by. So we have to really work at our business of finding an interesting story that our clients have got to tell. And then we have to tell it in an effective and compelling way. So when I'm pitching out to media, for example, I have to come up with a narrative. I'm doing a piece on virtual reality at the moment, and Apple have just released a new, ridiculously expensive, as always with Apple, VR headset. So we can use that as kind of like a hook to springboard off of. But also, we're talking about stuff which I hope is a little bit more compelling, which is actually sexual harassment in virtual reality, would you believe? Yeah, and it's the kind of thing where it's going to stop you in your tracks and think, that's interesting. How can somebody be sexually harassed in virtual reality? We're going to draw you in. We're going to make you want to read on or view more or engage with a particular organization. But going back to your point, I guess, about adding value, imagine that you're, I don't know, a light bulb company or something. Okay, there's loads of light bulb companies out there, all selling light bulbs and saying that we're great and all this kind of stuff. But if we're working with a light bulb company, we're going a bit above and beyond just purely the sales element of that. They're going to have some news as well. They're going to have stories to tell. They're going to have a brand to discuss. They're going to have a lot more engaging content. And at the end of the day, what's that going to do for them? It's going to make them stand out in the market and be different from all the other light bulb selling companies who are just purely there for sales. You know, we're talking about the heart, the brand of an organization, and how you can communicate all of those standout qualities. Make sense?
Yeah, it does. And I think some people, it's a real area I think a lot of people don't really explore too much, is it, PR? And we're sort of naturally very good at not talking about ourselves and not talking about the positives about what we've achieved and, you know, the positives messages that could be portrayed and sent out there. And I think that's where a lot of people really struggle with PR, isn't it? And that's where someone like yourself can actually help guide people on that news and information that should be shared.
Yeah, I mean, it's not for everybody. Don't get me wrong. I mean, some companies that I initially meet with you, they kind of expect you to just go out and say, right, do PR for me. It really doesn't work that way, because if I'm PRing with a particular organization, I need to sit down with their people and say, okay, you know, what's the story? What have we got here that's newsworthy? Who are your target audiences? And that's always the most important starting point. Who is it that you're trying to talk to? What do you want them to find out about or take away from your messaging? How do you want them to react to the type of messages that you're putting out there? So, you know, I do encounter occasionally some people who say, oh, just go off and do my PR. And I say, you know, I can't do that. It's got to be a two-way conversation. And as I say, it's really about amplifying the company's, you know, people, personalities, their brand. What is it that they're actually doing that's having an impact or making a difference? So it's really kind of like a nitty-gritty conversation. I do an awful lot of my work is with universities and educational institutions, and one of the great things about those type of operations is that they're really kind of a microcosm of society. So they do everything, you know, they do applied science, social sciences, the arts, the humanities, a whole variety of different sectors. In other words, they've always got lots to say. I guess where I come in and make a difference is really, as you started off, Simon, they don't often quite know how to say it or where to get started. So, you know, we sit down and we talk this through, and we develop communication plans. We say, this is how you can make a difference. So sometimes it's, you know, I mentioned about video production. It's sitting down with some of my clients and we develop a raft of videos where they're talking to camera about what they do and how they make a difference to people's lives. Did something with the University of Lincoln not so long ago, and they were talking about how technology could help people with dementia and other medical problems live at home more comfortably. So, you know, again, it's kind of like uncovering those interesting stories and getting them out into the world, because, you know, no matter how interesting the work is that you do, if nobody knows about it, you're going to kind of run out of clients pretty quickly, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a key thing there. And even just what you talk about there about you using technology to help with people that are struggling and suffering from dementia. I'd never thought of that. So that's where PR can effectively come in and actually, you know, help to share that message. And we can actually understand that from, you know, something that we're not really immediately connected with, to actually understand more about what it looks like. So I think that's a great example there of where PR is beneficial. And as I said, I think the challenge we face in this country is we don't talk about our products and services enough. And, you know, we do need PR experts to come in and actually engage with people to actually help share that message. So that's great to hear. Now, talking about your 11-year journey to where you are today, what was it like when you first set out in business? Would you, put it this way, rewinding the clock, would you do it again?
Yeah, I think I would. I'm kind of like a wild animal now that would be hard to retrain to come and sit into the kind of the old office environments that I used to function in on a very 9 to 5 basis. I mean, it was scary. don't get me wrong. It's really quite frightening going out on your own because a lot of things go through your mind. You think, does anyone care about what I do? Is anyone interested in the service or the product that I provide? How am I going to make money out of it? How am I going to pay the bills? Am I going to be happy? A whole raft of different highs and lows go racing through your mind. And it was scary, and it still can be scary sometimes today. But I think that I decided to make the plunge and take a chance with this, because the other thing that you've got to remember is that when you're starting your own business, if it were to go horribly wrong, okay, nobody's interested, you don't go anywhere, you don't make anything with it, it's not the end of the world. You can try something perhaps for 6 months, you can really give it your all, and if it doesn't pan out, you can always go back to putting in the job applications and start somewhere else. So I guess that's something I'd really like to try and get across to some of your viewers, that we all get frightened, we all get scared by these things, but believe in yourself, really kind of give it a go, be brave, surround yourself with good people, friends, associates, and maybe you want to dip a toe in the water to start with, but at some point throw yourself into it, make it transfer from it being your side hustle into your everyday full-time thing. And that's something that I certainly have here now. More Fire PR has become my work life, whereas initially it was just kind of like a bit of a pipe dream. And after 11 years, I'm hoping I can push forward and crack another 10 or 11. Who knows?
Yeah, well, fantastic. We look forward to following the journey and celebrating the 20th anniversary at some point, and obviously 9 years away. But you're quite right. I think taking that step could be quite daunting. And 13 years or 14 years actually now for me, and it's not easy. Failure is not a problem to me because you fall over. I've fallen over many times. You pick yourself up and carry on. But I think providing you learn from those challenges and those events that happen along the way, that help you to not or not repeat those mistakes, I should say, because we all make mistakes, don't we? And I think it's the learning that's more valuable than the actual mistake itself. So
yeah,
so
I mean,
great.
I think, yeah, sorry, I was going to say, I think the crux of it is do your homework initially, think about what it is that you want to do, or the service or product that you want to provide, and look at who's out there already doing that kind of thing. How you started off by saying, how can you add value? Well, who's the right audience, the right target for you? Who's going to pay for the kind of operation that you do? And one thing that I did when I very first started is I started fishing around, like talking to people that I already knew or some that I didn't, and said, look, this is the kind of thing I'm looking at doing. Do you see the value in that? Would you pay for that? How much would you pay for it? Is it something that you don't have a need for? All those kinds of questions. And the great thing about that exercise is sometimes when you take that approach, you actually pick up some customers along the way as well, because they go, oh no, I would pay for that, and would you be willing to do that for me? And I'm very lucky in that I've still got several clients who started this journey with me, and have been brilliant and stuck with me all along the way. But there's a lot of reasons for doing this kind of entrepreneurial type journey. Sometimes it's because we really want to challenge ourselves and try something new. Other times it's because we might be really fed up of where our career and work journey is going, and we want to kind of escape from that. But go in eyes open and with a smile on your face, and don't worry about the failures and the hiccups. Just keep trying to push forward and keep trying to get money coming in through the door and pay the bills. And as I mentioned before as well, be happy. Because we really want to be happy at work. And I talk to a lot of people at the moment, and some of them aren't having the best time with their workplace. Post-pandemic, all sorts of things have happened. So it's great what NNBN does as well, create that really nice community around that encourages people and gives them a network to talk to. So good for you, and keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, any network I find is valuable to us all, really. I mean, me and networks go back 14 years now, and I think yeah, I think you need to engage in a network just to keep your own personal journey moving, your own growth going, but also to keep up to date and learn and meet people, but also be inspired by others as well. And I think that's key as well, isn't it? Because you are on this journey, and it can be quite a lonely place when you're running a business, and you need to surround yourself with like-minded people that are, all driving forwards. And that's how we've met, through the networks, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've had kind of conversations and coffees for years, and shared all of our war stories and been through these highs and lows. But that's what's great. It's good to talk, and as you say, it can be a lonely experience. I mean, you might be part of a bigger team. That can be a scary process as well, particularly if you're in charge, because you've got to try and keep everyone's salaries paid and make sure you've got like an office roof over your heads or working remotely or whatever it might be that you're doing. But it's all about, for me, I think it's positivity. You might get some knocks and pushbacks on various aspects of what you're doing, but spend some time if you can. My suggestion would be spend some time if you can every week, just trying to market the business and talk to people and look for those new opportunities and clients. Don't get overly complacent on maybe just like one or two sources of income for yourself. Keep pushing out there, keep staying positive, and keep discussing and expanding that network.
Brilliant. Well, some great words of advice and great words of wisdom there as well, Mark. Thank you very much for joining us today. And if anybody wants to get in contact with you about what you do and your services and everything, what's the best way that they can actually get in contact with you?
I think the easiest thing to do is just Google Morefire PR or look us up at morefirepr.co.uk. You'll find all of our contact details on there, and I'm always willing to chat and help out, and give a consultation to people if they're looking for communication support advice. And yeah, we'll go forward from there, onwards and upwards.
Brilliant. Well, thanks for joining us, Mark. All the best, and we'll catch up soon.
Lovely. Cheers. Thanks, Simon.